Greetings from the Jazz Cloud. I'm Richie Zellon, and in this lesson I want to show you an easy trick that will instantly make your solo sound jazzier. And no, this isn't clickbait. Jazz improvisation per se is not easy to learn, but if you are putting in the time and learning the basics, the simple procedure I'm about to show you is bound to speed up your progress. Welcome back to the Jazz Guitar Channel, where I bring you weekly lessons featuring chord melody arrangements, jazz improvisation tips, solo transcriptions, and much more. If you are just getting started with jazz guitar, hopefully you have learned that the arpeggio is the backbone or foundation of every good solo. If you are not yet aware of this, at the end of this lesson, please be sure to watch my video, Stop Thinking in Scales. And I will place a link in the info section down below. Now, getting back to the subject at hand, if you are a jazz newbie, when you start improvising, playing an arpeggio or scale, you probably have the tendency to start on the root of each chord change. This, of course, is the result of practicing those arpeggios always starting on the root. However, playing the root at the beginning of every chord change sounds redundant. Why? Simply because it is the role of the bass player. Furthermore, the root doesn't imply the changes. On the other hand, if you start each change with a third, a seventh, or an upper extension, this will blend with the bass player's root and portray the characteristic color of the new chord. And even if there is no bass player, the harmony will be better implied. So having said this, one way you can break this beginner's habit of always reverting to the root is by simply playing the ninth instead. Don't know what or where the ninth is? Well, here's why it's so easy and effective. The ninth is simply the second note in a scale when added to a chord. This is known as an upper extension. And let me add that it is usually customary to get rid of the root when playing a ninth arpeggio. This can be done for different chord families. Let me show you how I would do it on a basic major seventh chord arpeggio. So here's a simple C major 7 arpeggio. Now listen to what happens when I exchange all the ones for nines. Now we can do that with any chord family. For example, here it is with a dominant 7th chord. I'm going to exchange all the roots for nines. Minor 7th chord. Did you know that you can make a solo sound pretty decent by just playing ninth arpeggios over each chord and making them swing? Initially, you don't even need to play any fancy chromatic approach notes. So with that in mind, I want to show you a couple of 2-5-1 ninth arpeggio bass lines that you can use over major and minor keys. Nonetheless, first I want you to hear the effect of purely resorting to ninth arpeggios over a chord progression. And to do so, next I am going to improvise and purposely refrain from playing anything that is not part of the ninth arpeggio over each chord change. That is, I'm not going to play any roots, no ones. Listen. So there I was playing over the initial changes to Satin Doll. I agree, it's not hardcore bebop or anything sophisticated because I was simply going up and down a ninth arpeggio. But the bottom line is that it sounds a lot better and jazzier than if you were to do the same employing the root. So having said that, let me show you the first 2-5-1 comprised of ninth arpeggio notes. And this first one is over a 2 minor 7 5 7 1 major 7 cadence, D minor 7 G7 C major 7. And I'm going to play it first with all the roots within each measure. 1 2 3 4. Now, listen to the same line, and this time I'm going to exchange every root within each measure for a 9. 1 2 3 4. It takes on a whole new color. Now here's a 2 minor 7 flat 5 to dominant 7 altered to 1 minor 7 cadence. I'm going to play it first, playing the roots in each measure. 1 2 3 4. And now I'm going to exchange all the roots in each measure for 9s. And notice that for the dominant 7th altered chord, for the flat 9 chord that is, I'm going to play a sharp 9 instead of a 1. 1 2 3 4. Before concluding, if you want to further experiment with this concept, take any jazz line that includes the root and doesn't have the 9th in it, and try exchanging it for the 9th. You'll be amazed as to some of the variations that you'll come up with. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson, and as usual, I welcome your questions and thank you for your likes and comments. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the Jazz Guitar channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon so you will be notified of my upcoming lessons. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, peace be with you.